some Every Pokemon Ever stuff. Uh, you guys have sent me a lot of questions, so this is just an answer to most of those. Okay, so Every Pokemon Ever was a dream me and my brother kind of started in 2020 at the start of COVID. And we were kind of bored. I had been working on film sets in Portland, and I just decided to start something for one of my childhood passions, and that's Pokemon. Um, yeah, so I was filming on these shows, and then all of a sudden with COVID, a lot of them were either stalled or canceled. So looking for a passion project to do. There's Pokemon. Started playing the games and thought, hey, why don't we make something out of this? So we started it there. It became a timeline of games and all these episodes, but at the beginning, we're just like, what if we just, played through our childhood games, recorded it, maybe do a couple funny skits, and call it good. But yeah, eventually it evolved into, something a little, little extra beyond that with all the cohesive timeline stuff, and that's kind of why you guys are asking so many questions. It's been a few episodes now, so it wouldn't have been possible to start without the help of Stuart Zagnit, the original voice of Professor Oak. He really brought that initial feeling of, well, this is kind of funny because you hear Professor Oak say stuff like, if you don't catch all the Pokemon, I'm going to take your Pokedex back, kid. Or, abandoning me on the Pokemon Snap Island. So, yeah, I don't know. Stuart was a big help. Of course, my brother Brandon, who plays the rival character, and even Nick Stelate, he was the original voice of the Pokedex in the cartoon. He had a line I liked. He's like, Ratata steals from stupid trainers. And he had been out of the game for a while. I don't know if he got booted once Eric Stewart took over doing the Pokedex voice as well. But yeah, he did his original run, didn't really get much of the fan credit and stuff. And he came on for, we had a nice long chat. He's a great guy. Had a nice long chat, and he decided to do the Pokedex voice for the show. So that was really, really cool. So all of those original people in the original episodes of Every Pokemon Ever that we did, it was really cool to get them all together for that. And then, of course, Jason Page with the theme song, he came on and gave us a little message. So having people involved from the beginning was really, really something, and it made us think, hey, what if we took this and not only did the Pokemon games, but then included the episode, hey, Kate, and then did the episodes about the board games and the the side games like Pokemon Pinball and stuff like that. So yeah, the Every Pokemon Ever is, we wanted it to be non-profit basically. You guys have been asking, why is it a non-profit? You guys, why is it a non-profit project? We kind of wanted to support St. Jude, so that's why at the end of every episode of the Pokemon thing, we have that whole you can donate to St. Jude or whatever. It's kind of just more publicity, putting it out there. A lot of people involved in it, especially the old Pokemon actors coming back for their little bits in it. They really appreciate that it's a non-profit. Not that I can make any money off of YouTube anyway, but kind of small scale right now, but that's okay. Yeah, so it's a non-profit just to kind of get the word out for something we believe in. So yeah, you love my Funko Pop. Oh yeah, well that's a whole other story for a different time. But yeah, these are custom. I did the custom art on them. Actually, they're actually all totally made up right now, and they have comic book backdrops. Yeah, that's another project. But so I'm not doing the Pokemon thing. There you go. Anyway, what's taking so long for me to edit episodes? That's the number one question I get. Right now, I'm actually live streaming on my phone. I wanted to live stream on my computer, and it's just awful. It's 10 years old. I'm still using it We have another computer. I don't know why I don't just use that, but basically that's what's taking so long to edit the videos is that this computer has everything on it ready to go, set up just the way I like it, but it's just awful. So I could also we could also hire editors and stuff like that, but I don't know. I got some things saying that they love my crappy editing skills and the kind of weird style that we do, so we kind of keep it very limited in what we do. It's really basic, really. If you look at what we film for the Pokemon show and what we actually put out, yeah, it's really it shouldn't take that long. So sorry about that. How are we going to do Ruby Sapphire Emerald and Fire Red Leaf Green? I'm trying to think of what to say because there's like two people here that actually care that I don't want to spoil. But after Johto, something's going to happen in timelines and such from all the time traveling that we've been doing. Because, we'll use that old Pokemon Watch thing and pretend like we're time traveling back and forth a couple of years to explain the inconsistencies in what we do. So something's going to happen with, I'll just say, with Looker, if you know the Pokemon series, who Looker is. And I don't know what I can say or not. We have a guest coming on for the role of Looker, voice only. You've heard a couple of snippets throughout the episode. So something's going to happen with timeline, timey-wimey shenanigans that's going to cause us to move to a different timeline away from red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal. And getting back there probably won't happen. Spoil some guests for the next season. Well, we've had Professor Oak, we've had Professor Elm, so naturally, as we move to Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, we're going to have somebody come on to play Professor Birch. Let's leave it at that. And, a couple of you caught, yeah, in the Monopoly episode, there was like a quick little snippet of the mom character, so that's exciting. I think two of you got who it was, but she'll be on for a full clip on that. Discuss the May story. Oh, I said I wouldn't talk about that, but May. Okay. I don't know how to do this. We got a person involved who wanted to play May in the Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. We didn't know what we were going to do at the time. This was a long time ago when we were just kind of doing the games. And somebody came on and wanted to do the May bit that we were in talks with anyway. And she lives in my city, like in the nearest big city. And she's an old school, big Pokemon YouTuber. I'll just leave it at that. And I thought in my head, I'm like, hey, well, this person is probably going to be super busy just because of their popularity. And so I reached out to her and I said, do you want to... I gave a little gift too, I think I sent some of my Game Boy printer paper or whatever for the old Game Boys that you could print out things. But I'm like, hey, we have this May bit for our Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald little skit thing, and it'll take 2 minutes to film because I don't want to take a lot of your time. And once she heard that, she kind of got upset because I think she thought, like, why would I get all ready to go and dressed up in this character just for a 2-minute film part? I was trying to be nice and say, like, hey, I don't want to waste your time, so we'll make this as quick as possible, just a couple little things, and I think she took offense to it. So that fell out, and then we were casting for May, over months and months and months, and we found a couple people along the way who even got costume ready, took pictures, and were like, yes, okay, we're going to move forward. And then they eventually would just back out. But now we have a person cast as May. She's great. And we have a couple more Johto episodes that we're going to do for Every Pokemon Ever, and then we're going to move on to Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald with the big ending probably in the next couple of months. What all have you done at Every Pokemon Ever to help Lost Media? That's a great thing. I mean, we probably were the first ones to have Walk Off the Earth perform the Pokemon Journeys theme song at the time that Pokemon Journeys was out. So that was a really cool little sketch thing that we did there. Because, yeah, they hadn't really done an acoustic version of it. People have been hearing the pop version on the TV, so that was really cool to get them on. And they all were happy to do a little bit about it. That's cool. We might have been the first ones to full-fledged have a tutorial for the 8F glitch for Mew. No matter what Austin John says, Austin John came out with this little thing, and he's like, no one on the internet has covered the 8F Mew glitch in this much detail. We had just a crappier version of it, but we did do a full walkthrough of how you can get a Mew in red, blue, and yellow on the Virtual Console. But anyway, then we talked to Jeremy Hepworth from Nintendo, and we got him to talk about the Mew machines that they used to distribute Mews to on your Pokemon cartridges. I'm probably the first one to break into the Pokemon Print Club, which is a whole thing that you need to watch the video on. There are these old print machines that you can actually take pictures of yourself with a photo frame at a photo booth. I can still break into the print clubs too. If anybody has a print club they want me to break into, let me know. There's Tamamushi University. There was a Magikarp given out in Japan with a song contest. And they have these like cassette tapes that they handed out with a special song from Pokemon that nobody has. So we were in talks to get that cassette tape from somebody in Japan, and we had it lined up to go. He sent pictures, like he had the cassette tape. And I had reservations a little bit about if it was legit or not, which in hindsight I just should have not had reservations. So I asked him if he could just try out the cassette tape and make sure it works. And I guess his story is that somewhere in the whole cassette trying out, it broke the tape somehow, and it was irreplaceable damage. And that may be one of only 3 that existed, depending on translations. Maybe not. Maybe it was the top. I don't know. Tamamushi University. Yeah, I'm really sad about that. Cassette tape getting lost. And then there was a mobile adapter. We had a contact in Japan. And my brother and I talked to him, and he conveyed a whole bunch of information about the mobile adapter for the Game Boy and what news stories it could give out, so it was cool. Shortly after that, I was contacting people at Cyberworld for a kind of flash game online, Pokemon 2000 adventure flash game. And, yeah, I got in touch with Eddie Raminsky, who was a developer on the Cyberworld Pokemon 2000 adventure game. And we got to talking, and he's like, hey, yeah, I have this old buddy that used to work with me, Neil Marshall. So we started talking, and we had this whole interview where he thought he had some files for the game that he was going to, share with me. But all of a sudden, he tried out the Cyberworld game, and he got it to work. And so we were really excited about that. That was a step to the Did You Know Gaming episode that got tens of thousands of views, where they said, hey, we found the Cyberworld 2000 Pokemon adventure game. And really, Eddie had found it a while back, and we had the whole talk about it and interview about it. So that was pretty cool too, because Did You Know Gaming actually got in touch with me after making that episode, realized that I had this interview before, and they're like, oh, what can we do to make it up to you? So I said, he was really nice. I said, you could have just squeezed Cody in the credits, it's 4 letters. All you have to do is write, thanks, Cody. And so he wrote, thanks, Cody, wink. He updated the description. So if you look there at that Did You Know Gaming episode on Cyberworld 2000, you'll see a nod to me down there. Nobody will know it's me except for you guys, but and then yeah, we tied together the Imakuni story from several Japanese articles. There was I got an interest in Imakuni from the Tamamushi episodes. So that was cool, tying all those different pieces of media together. I don't think anybody's done that. What else? Pokemon Mini Tetris. There was a Lost DLC event, and then we had the full Saga Pico walkthrough there. So a few things we've done to put it broadly there, but oh, AOL Japan, yeah, that's another one that we found there. Thanks to help from Japanese players we were syncing up with back in the day. They were able to get some files on this. There's a Pokemon website on AOL Japan, which getting that to work here would be impossible. So big thanks to them. How much is your Pokemon collection worth? I have no idea. We have so much stuff to come in the future, and so much stuff that we've shown you on the episodes already. I can't really put a number on it. I mean, we got Pokemon Box for the GameCube, so that adds a bit of value right there already. Oh, the Johto story. I think this is referring to the Pokemon Johto. Okay, the Johto story. Yeah, so not only did we get Paul Liberty to come back, he was Professor Elm back in the Johto Journeys VHS era. He's the one who's always at his computer. He's like, "Yes, Nurse Joy. Oh yeah, yeah. You can take the Pokemon," and then Team Rocket takes it. But yeah, Paul Liberty. He's a great voice actor, and a great guy. He came on as soon as he knew that Stewart did his Professor Oak impression. He was willing to come on for a couple short snippets. That was really really cool to see him reprise that role of Professor Elm. And I was thinking, what about the theme song? So I started talking to Elan, who's the girl who sings half of the Johto soundtrack back in the day. There was no way. The balloon. Oh man, the balloon. quit bringing up the balloon. I'm getting there. So yeah, I was talking to Elan from the balloon. I think you're referring to the giant balloon that children would crawl inside at the parades and stuff back in the day. But I lost track. Oh yeah, Johto. So I was talking to Elan, who's one of the singers of most of the Johto soundtrack, with a wonderful guy called PJ Lequerisa. And yeah, I wanted to do maybe a duet with her akin to the Pokemon 3 the movie, if you've seen the beginning of that, the one with Entei. Oh, Tradition. Gotcha. If you've seen the beginning of Pokemon 3 the movie, there's like a kind of pop version of Pokemon Johto, the boom, 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 boom. And that's PJ and Elan, so I figured, what if we kind of reprise that with Elan and me, I guess, at the time. And then somehow, through my links in entertainment, somebody finally got a hold of PJ. And I was like, oh man, okay, so he's excited. He hasn't actually talked to most of the Johto crew in, years, and getting just those two back together, they were super pumped to do it. And Elan just said, hey, well, why don't we just reach out to the other guys? So I reached out to the 4 other guys. I mean, not guys, Shauna, Sharif, Jamali, and then there was I'm having a brain fart. I'm going to regret this later. She's a wonderful lady. Anyway, I reached out to her, and she the last had reservations. She's like, I'm a mom now. I'm old. I don't really know if I am in the realm of singing anymore. So she, it was fun for her to talk. I was in like a email chat with all of these guys reuniting, and it was just super cool that just because I asked the question that they were able to talk again. They were sending pictures from the Johto band back in the day, because they were actually different singers that came together under Pokemon to make a group called Johto for the Johto era of Pokemon, with that whole Totally Johto Pokemon CD. And so, yeah, I'm going to regret not knowing her name. I will look it up after this. But yeah, she just said, this has been great to talk, but I'm not really looking to sing on camera right now. And so I took over that sixth spot for that, and it worked well because I got sucked into the TV, and then you see them all pop up on different TVs. So that was really cool to get them reunited. They were excited. Just something else that we've been able to do by just going out there and asking the question for Pokemon Lost Media. So AOL video was fun. I had the hardest time researching that one. Yeah, I talked about that a moment ago. You probably weren't here, but that was super hard to get everything running as much as it did. And I know it looks like crap, but yeah, that was the board game where you find the baby egg. Yeah, I remember that. Go Go Late. No, not Go Go Lady, but yeah, the tree climbing game. Uh, Look it up. Look it up, guys. That's a fun. No, no, it's fun. Most of the time I'm actually playing these things by myself, just because me and Brandon only sync up every once in a while. He moved away, so we get together, of course. But what order will we continue every Pokemon ever in the future is another question I got. So after Johto, we're going to do Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, obviously, after a timeline shift of some sort. I'm not going to get into too much details on that. And then, so Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Colosseum, and then let's do Gen 3 side quests, but not half of the side quests. So like Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald specific things leading up to Fire Red, Leaf Green, where yeah, this is a question that gets asked often on here is how are you going to do Fire Red Leaf Green if you already did the Kanto adventure? Well, in the timeline shift, the events of Fire Red Leaf Green haven't happened yet, but we're trying to find a way to, because you know how the remakes, they kind of happen in the future time where they take place. So we're going to try to Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Colosseum, some Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald stuff, and then Fire Red Leaf Green, the Kanto revisited, but this guy has already been through it originally, so it should be a pretty quick little thing. Anyway, and more Pico. Yes, that's right. You got me. You got me. More Pico. Yes. The rest of those Pico games are sitting right down here. Don't worry. I got all those. What's her name? You guys are going to realize I'm horrible with names. Candy Evie did a video on the Cocoa Pad, which is a like leapfrog tablet thing, and she has that game. I was in a Japanese auction with this whole set for like $15, and it had the Cocoa Pad game, the one that people are searching for, and I had it in my grasp, and I went to click the button, and somebody bought it right there. So that could be a hard one to find. I haven't seen it pop up since, but maybe I'll get together with her and see if she can share some footage or something of that, just to pretend like I actually did that. That's a hard one. Will Brandon return? Okay. Yeah, so like I said, my brother, at the time of starting all this, Brandon, yeah, he's my brother in real life. I know in the series he's my rival, but he's my brother. Obviously, we look pretty similar. But anyway, that's kind of funny that we're like such rivals in real life. At the time of starting all this, he had a lot of free time, and we did several video game projects together. We were doing like an Earthbound thing for a Lost Card game, and just there's Donkey Kong Country, all sorts of stuff. And as of late, he's incredibly busy, as am I. I'm actually a father of 4, which gives me very little time to edit these videos and do much of anything. That's also adds to why it takes so long. So without the spoilers, I'll just say that I'm hopeful Brandon will make a return for a little cameo in the Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald era. How is he going to do that if we're moving through timelines and stuff? We have a pretty good explanation set up. I have a whole, I've talked to some of you about this, I have a whole like master list of the games and everything laid out in a big timeline, and it would probably blow some of your minds, just all of the different things laid up and lost media and stuff. So any fun web browser stuff is one that you just got there. Yeah. some of those older lost Flash games are still out there, and I think I don't want to make people mad. I think people dub things lost media too soon, is what I found by going back through a lot of. I've found, you know, 10 or so different Flash games. They're probably a stupid little like I remember the Kraft mac and cheese like little tile puzzle one. Nobody wanted to find that, but and that aren't on Flashpoint or anywhere backed up. You have to dig deep into the web archive kind of and tweak things around to get it to work. So yeah, Pokemon teaching. Yep, we're gonna get into the Learning League. Yeah, the Pokemon Learning League and different. There's some more Flash games, and also there's cell phone games, and I think Did You Know Gaming actually they my arch nemesis Did You Know Gaming. No, I think Did You Know Gaming did a little episode on mobile games. Getting Pokemon Garden and the other lost web games that were Japan exclusive will be very difficult. But we're gonna see what we can cook up because I found a couple of things that they haven't been able to find. Final Fantasy. Okay, I'll look into that. I probably have. I have a lot of things lined up that I haven't researched yet. My biggest trophy that I could ever get would be to somehow get there was a DS download game at Poke Park, which was a Japan theme park called the Poke Park Fishing Rally. And there's like one guy in Germany that was able to either download or hack it or something to get it to work. And he holds this thing very close. You know, he hasn't shared it with any, he'll share footage with you, but I am going to try what I can to take his methods or talk to him in German. I need to practice my German. Wie geht's, wie Kinder, something. I don't know how to speak German. I've been to Germany, but gonna try to talk to the guy. Maybe I'll just go back to Germany and hunt him down and be like, hey, can I please download your Pokemon game? My favorite item so far. I have to think. You know, I hate this. The fat chubby Pikachu, yeah. No, I hate this about myself, and I don't know why, but that Imakuni episode, just diving into how much of a weirdo he was. Like just all the different things about Imakuni from the Pokemon trading card game, but then beyond, like finding out it all linked together with all this different stuff. I don't know. I thought that was masterful. People often see Imakuni in like the Pokemon trading card game. They're like, "Who's this weird guy dressed in a Mickey Mouse onesie or whatever?" But the amount of stuff in Japan that you can find and then link together, which I think we were kind of the ones to do it nowadays. A lot of people talk about Imakuni and have a fact or two, but tying all of those old articles together and then realizing he changed his costume and then he changed his costume again and it links together in a timeline. That was just insane to me. So the Imakuni cards and memorabilia is probably my favorite trip we've taken, but I can't really choose one thing. Um, yeah, another question about the professors. Like I said, we had Oak, we had Elm. We're gonna have a Professor Birch. Who's it gonna be? We'll see. AOL, yep, I know. I had AOL at the time, but I never looked up but I probably did look up the website. I can't for the life of me remember how it even looked to describe it. So finding the American Pokemon AOL website would be something to add to that video later on because we did not have that. I was able to find that Pokemon 3 the movie sweepstakes stuff, but finding the actual Pokemon hub, it'd be something cool to add. The Togepi shorts. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with that first episode coming out and seeing Ho-Oh fly across. A lot of people say this, but yeah, you see the first episode and then you see Ho-Oh, and my mind just kind of was trying to wrap around what is that. And so once Togepi came around in the anime, which was a couple months later, yeah, I really liked Togepi a lot. Yeah, the first two, yeah, the Pokemon shorts. Yep. Yeah, I do like I we haven't really covered those except for of course the tree climbing game, which we just did the board game of, but yeah, yeah, man. Gold and Silver, yep. Uh Spoiler alert. No, not really. Nobody cares. We're going to do the coverage of the Pokemon Gold and Silver 97 Space World demo because it's completely different with skateboarding, and New Bark Town is called Silent Hill. It's going to be kind of creepy. So there will be more time travel shenanigans before the whole shift to Ruby Sapphire and Emerald. So that's really cool. Yeah, I really love all these email questions I got here. Oh, okay. People are wondering if I can somehow get this on a TV. I mean, YouTube's easier to watch than TV. I don't know why you'd want that, but no, on Roku too and other stuff like that, you'll see some videos by streamers and stuff. But we can't do anything with this other than YouTube or video sites because I like to throw in. You guys know this. I like to throw in licensed music all throughout. Like when you're doing the Let's Find book, let's just throw in Volcano by Jimmy Buffett there. And when you're streaming to TV, you have to have original content mostly just because of the schematics of it all with their ads and everything. So this show will never, ever be monetized. That's why it's nonprofit again. We like to raise awareness for St. Jude's. But it's also just the music, the stuff, even if we remastered it, which we're working on some stuff right now, the music alone would never, ever make it able to do that. Oh, yeah, somebody caught wind of this. Okay. We wanted to maybe, just for kicks and giggles, put it on VHS tapes and just have them have like a real life treasure hunt or something out there. Like that'd be cool. Like you go through this horrible treasure hunt throughout the world, and then you find a VHS tape, and it's like what is this crap? So that'd be good. uh oh yep. Yeah, those leaks. Thank goodness for those because that's where Pokemon Gold and Silver the demos were found a couple years ago or whatever it was. So yeah, that was good. That was good. It's always good when media is found because then we get to explore it more. So the baby egg and a yellow rat, you like that? Yeah, yeah. Check out Let's Find Pokemon Volume 2 because that's something else. There you go. Yeah, I've talked to probably two people who have stories about it, but yeah, we're the what happened to the event is pretty well covered elsewhere, so we're just going to try to play it just to see the differences between it and the mainline Gold and Silver game, so get to that. And then, I think all of this together, we wanted to kind of maybe, if you go to the website, which, the occasional person does maybe to peruse, but it's very hard to navigate through all of what we've done through the past. We have all the items like laid out like that, and you can take a timeline adventure from the beginning to now. We're almost 100 episodes into this, so we're kind of thinking maybe make a book / player's guide so people can play along. If you ever watched the old or have seen the old Earthbound player's guides where it's like super weird, like tourist kind of stuff, so it'd be cool to put that together. But yep, Print Club video, Print Club. I don't know how we made that work, but I even had a guy last month ask, like, you broke into the Pokemon Print Club machine thing. Can you do this just to check out this other one, just to check out what scenes are in it? And I was still able to do it somehow, so just with my setup I have. So yeah. Grand Celebration. Episode 100 will be the reboot. Not reboot, but it'll be the... I'm trying to think. Yeah, we're renumbering things right now. We're adding in a couple TCG centric episodes. It's because we want to do those. So going back to the original games, we're going to do some TCG card episodes for the first three packs, and then the Neo cards. And then episode 100 should be the first episode of Ruby Sapphire Emerald. We'll see. What's with the second edition project is another question. Like I said, when we started the red, blue, and yellow episodes, way like during COVID and moving forward, we just were crapping around. We're just like, what if we did the games? Okay, let's add in some funny skits. Okay, whatever. And then eventually, we started doing all these like timeline things, like making it, oh, well, this happened, and now Professor Oak's sending him here to take pictures of Pokemon for Pokemon Snap, and then he comes back, and we just decided to make it a big timeline. But if you look back at those first episodes, they're kind of rough, We wanted to add, and we have a couple surprise guests appearing. I won't say who, but once we reboot that, and we're going to make it more kind of 80s VHS feel, it's going to look super old school and I think fitting more to, because it's already crappy quality, because of my stuff I use. So if we make it look crappy on purpose, it could be a cool vibe going on there. Yes, yes. I don't know. Sailor Moon. The last time I watched Sailor Moon, I was like 8. So sorry about that. Sorry. I know she has blonde hair and does a whole. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, where is the Pokemon Stadium episode 1? Pokemon Stadium 1. Well, I hate that game. I didn't want to at the time play Pokemon Stadium, and I started to play Pokemon Stadium, and at the time, we were trying to shuffle all this different stuff. I'm like, if I spend a whole year trying to beat Pokemon Stadium, I'm never going to get anything. I'm glad we didn't. And the story in that episode about surfing Pikachu is true. I reached out to my childhood friend, and he had my copy of the game, and I was asking him about it, and he's like, yeah, I'll just send it to you. I'm like, what? Cool. And that one we had at least gotten to round 2, and then we were able to finish it. So when Pokemon Stadium 2 came around, people are like, we were showing some clips that we didn't include in the original episode, and people are like, where was this? I didn't see this. I didn't think anyone would care, but there were a few of you that were like, hey, I never saw this. So I figured we have to go back and make a Pokemon Stadium 1 episode just like Stadium 2, but back then. And then the Surfing Pikachu episode will be totally based on Pokemon Yellow, Secrets, and the Pikachu's Beach minigame, which is not fun. Yeah. Yep, I know. A lot of people think that. That's oh. Yeah, I talked about people were asking what was my history with Pokemon. I mean, just like a lot of people in 1998, it was all the rage when I was 7 or 8 on the playground. I had a Game Boy, and just like, millions of people, I fell in love with Pokemon. I remember going to the store and the displays and picking it out. We do that. We do that in the show too. Like I got red version, and Brandon got blue version, and it was just if you don't have a sibling or a friend or something, I can't describe how it felt to trade at the time, to like sync up your games and just compare your adventures that were different but totally similar. So that was something else. So me and Brandon both have a special place for this, and that's why this is cool, because we get to kind of cement that in these episodes. Okay. So throughout it, my memories have flood back into me from being a child to exploring the websites and seeing a glimpse of something that looks vaguely familiar, and me like, oh, yeah. Because like at the time, internet took like 5 years to load it up with that awful sound, and then KFC. I got the I begged my parents to go there to get the gold. Was it? I think it was a gold bat or a Zubat stuffy. I thought it was the coolest looking one, and yeah, I was I was there. I'm old. I was there. Beyond that, though, I did play Pokemon pretty much throughout my life. When Diamond and Pearl came out, I was in high school, and my brother bought Diamond early, and so he's like, "Yeah, Cody, go get Pearl." And I went there to get Pokemon Pearl, and there was a classmate of mine, and I'm like 15, and I was like, "Am I gonna go ask my classmate, can I buy Pokemon Pearl version?" So I made Brandon go and get that for me. So I was a little embarrassed at the time for some reason, and then oh, that's cool. You're younger. You got some years to go. That's cool. Yeah, I was a little embarrassed, but not super. And then like we got Black and White. I remember the Victini event, and then I think Black 2 and White 2 I didn't buy. That's where I kind of dipped out a little bit because I'm like, why would I buy Black 2 if I already played Black 1 or whatever? So I actually didn't play that until a few years ago. Yeah, and I came back for X and Y, so I've been hanging around in it, but I kind of dipped out there in that little tiny area. And then I got a pretty good communication with Pokemon. I was actually a beta tester for Pokemon Go, which I went around and I got to test out the game early, and I got this like super overpowered Machamp, and I'm like taking over gyms because there's two other players. I was like, yeah, Pokemon Go, this is awesome. And then when the game came out, they're like, thanks for being a beta tester. We hope you enjoy your adventure. I thought they'd transfer over to the main game, and they deleted my beta testing. I was like, what? Seriously? So I didn't get to keep any of those, but I did Pokemon Go a little bit. I have not played Scarlet and Violet, which is I've been too focused on this old retro stuff. I haven't actually played Scarlet or Violet yet, so something I need to do. Generation 4 Pico, yep. There's lots of Pico games for the Generation 3, and then trying to think. I think almost I might be wrong about this. I think all of the Generation 4 moved to a advanced system called the Advanced Pico Bina, which I have over there. I haven't even turned it on yet. I didn't turn on. I've had the Pico. Oh, I can't dig it out right now. The problem with the Pico is that I have a special edition Pikachu version of it, and the box it released kind of in the beginning of the Hoenn era, in the advanced era, and yep, yep. So the machine released in the advanced era, but we're like, oh well, this game's from Johto. It came out before the machine, so we had to kind of not show off the box yet. But the Pico comes in this big yellow box with Pikachu's face on it. It's pretty cool. I have it sitting down there. The last thing I think I got here is an update on Every Game Ever, which we were teasing forever. Yeah, we wanted to start out with like some Super Nintendo games, just pretty chill morning playthroughs, kind of sped up, because nobody wants to watch a guy sit there for hours playing games. So we're gonna do some things outside. I'm not burnt out on the retro Pokemon yet, but we're gonna do some different stuff mixed in here. So if you see those videos popping up and you don't want to watch them, that's fine. Just pass over them. But if you're just here for the Pokemon timeline, the best way to do it would be to check out the timelines on our channel because we always update those. What are you doing with Animal Crossing? Oh, Animal Crossing, right. Uh, I don't know what that question means, but way back when I started acting and stuff, like random little comedy stuff, Crayola and Disney. Yeah. I only have the Pokemon. Oh no, I got a what did I show off in that episode for a second? I have a Berenstain Bears and like a Richard Scarry children's Pico games. Yeah, it's not fun, and even translating the elevator stuff for that mini game, it was horrible. Japan got it better. Yeah, you got it right. For Animal Crossing, when I was starting to get into acting and stuff, I came out of theater and we moved to Oregon, and I kind of I fell out of theater, but I started looking for different acting gigs because I was doing like music stuff. That's a pretty deep cut if you know about that, but I found one guy looking to do the fan dub of the Animal Crossing movie, which was a Japan exclusive movie. And I sent him my stuff, and he's like, "Oh, this is perfect." So he added me in there as KK Slider on the original fan dub of that movie way back. This is 2006. I want to say just after YouTube even came. It was like way back when. And yeah, I sung the thing, the bossa song, the waves crashing down, and I thought it sounded good, but I guess that original version of the fan dub got copyright striked the heck out of in the early days of YouTube. Like they're just like, you can't put this on here, and so it kind of fell into obscurity. Like Animal Crossing fans saw it at the time, but it didn't really get a big reach, and the guy who made it kind of, I think, fell out of making it. So they remade a fan dub later, I think 2012 or 2013, of the Animal Crossing movie, and that's a lot of people have seen that. That's online, and people have remade it since then. But yeah, he didn't. That guy didn't ask me to come back as KK Slider, and I have a little funny video in our Animal Crossing group. But anyway, yada yada yada. This led me to become. Somebody found out I did the voice of KK Slider way in that first fan dub, and they got in touch with me and asked, "Hey, do you want to be an ad or a mod admin? I don't know, on our Animal Crossing Facebook group?" And I was like, "No, but I can." And so that was a fun little year or two when it was in the hype of New Leaf when Animal Crossing New Leaf came out. So I was a mod in this group, and I met another girl named Hannah, and she lives in Norway. It's just really fun to have a group of friends hang out with in New Leaf, and come to around the time we were starting this Pokemon venture. I kind of, I told the Animal Crossing group, like, I can't handle the messages every day because I'm pretty low key about all that. So I said, I'm going to get out of here. But I came back to Animal Crossing when New Horizons came out, and I found out that Hana, who I knew from the New Leaf group, had the biggest, like, New Horizons Facebook group, the biggest, with people swarming in because it's, it was COVID time, so everybody's wanting a way to connect and relax. And so we got to talking, and she's like, "I would love for you to come back into this." So I was running that group with her for a few years. I've dipped out of that as well, but that's my tie to Animal Crossing right there in a nutshell. All right. Yeah, I'm going to, holy cow, 48 minutes. Yada, yada, yada. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. That's all the questions I had on email. I'm just hoping I made this concise enough about the Ruby Sapphire Emerald. So yeah, we're going to hit up a Ruby Sapphire Emerald adventure after 4 more episodes of Johto mini stuff. Nothing too complicated. At the end, we'll get to this whole timeline, wibbly wobbly timey wimey thing, and then you'll see some stuff happen as we're pulled out of this universe or timeline, whatever, implanted into another. What happens? The hero is all alone, doesn't know where he is, but he's told he has to do this to kind of save the universe before it unfolds or whatever. So he's pulled into this other universe, and that's the explanation for why he travels to a place where the events of Fire Red Leaf Green haven't already happened. Like Team Rocket isn't a thing yet, and he's in the kind of prequel to that. And somehow Colosseum blends in nicely right after that. But sorry, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to process and think what I can say or can't say about it because I want to leave some of it to be a surprise for the two people that care. Okay, anyway, hope that explains everything. If you have any more questions, hit me up. And yeah, thanks guys for chilling out with me for, geez, almost an hour. All right, see you later.